Good morning, students. Welcome to the live lecture of functional analysis. In the last lecture, we have seen the definition of conjugate operator and we have completed the first unit called as Banach spaces. In today's lecture, we were going to start a new topic called as Hilbert spaces. Hilbert space is a concept or a notion given by a world famous mathematician David Hilbert. He was a German mathematician. The life tenure is 23 January 1862 to 14th February 1943. This mathematician Hilbert has discovered and developed a broad range of fundamental ideas in many areas, including invariant theory, calculus of variation, commutative algebra, algebraic number theory, foundations of geometry, spectral theory of operators, and application to integral equations, mathematical physics, foundations of mathematics, etc. Okay, now this mathematician has given some concepts called as, see here we can see easily observe Hilbert basis theorem, Hilbert's axioms, Hilbert spaces, Hilbert's program, Einstein Hilbert action, Hilbert spaces. This Hilbert space is the concept we were going to study in this unit. What is Hilbert space? He has derived. Hilbert space allows generalizing the methods of linear algebra and calculus from the two-dimensional and three-dimensional Euclidean spaces to the spaces that may have infinite dimension. Therefore, Hilbert space is actually a vector space equipped with an inner product space, which is actually a generalization of the dot product space. Here we can see the picture. The picture is taken in 1912. Mr. David Hilbert. Okay. Now in today's lecture, we were going to start the topic of Hilbert spaces. Let me share my screen again. I hope the screen is visible clearly.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now this Hilbert space is actually an abstract vector space which is equipped with a geometric structure or an algebraic structure called as inner product. Therefore, first we will try to understand what is inner product and then we will come to the definition of what is the Hilbert space. Is that okay? As of in the nonlinear spaces we have seen. Correct now? What we have seen in the nonlinear spaces is a vector space say n equipped with algebraic structure norm. What is the meaning of this algebraic structure? The norm is a distance measuring or length measuring function defined on the vector space n. That is, the length or the distance measured in the vector space n is calculated with the help of norm, and the space is called nonlinear space. And if we add the completeness property, it will give you the Banach space. Correct now? This gives you the Banach space. Very similar to this, we were going to study what is inner product space. Inner product space is an algebraic structure, say n, equipped with this operation of inner product. Okay. Again, if we add the property of completeness, it will give you the Hilbert spaces. Right? So first, we'll try to understand what is inner product. Inner product is the way of calculating the product. The name itself tells you, na, inner product. Right? Product we were dealing right from our childhood, no? First standard. What is product? Usual product we have studied. Okay. Product of two scalars is introduced in our some first or second standard. Let me try to explain you what is the product first. Okay. If A and B are the two scalars, say A comma B belongs to R, and if I want to evaluate this product A dot B, what we were doing exactly by meaning of this A dot B? Yes, A is multiplied to B, right? No, A is multiplied to B. A is multiplied to B means what we were doing exactly. For example, suppose I am taking 2.3. If I am taking 2.3, what we were doing? First, we will measure a 2-unit distance, right? First, we will measure 2-unit distance. This is our real line, no doubt. Okay. Then this 2-unit distance is taken thrice, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Therefore, this was thrice I am taking. Therefore, this is 2 unit, this is 2 unit, and this is also 2 unit. Therefore, 2-unit distance taken 3 times, or what one can do? 3-unit distance.
3 unit distance, 2 times.
Yes, 3 unit distance we can take 2 times. Right now, one of the way we can follow. This is my real line, and suppose I have this is a 3 unit distance. Okay. Now this 3 unit distance one can take 2 times. First time and second time. Okay. If we do so, what will be the value actually? 2 unit, 2 unit, 2 unit. If I add, totally it will give you 6 unit distance. Right now? 6 unit distance. Similarly, if I take 3 unit distance twice, it also gives us the 6 unit distance. Now, why this method was used? Because both the numbers are real numbers. They are going to lie on the same line. Okay, this is what a product or one can say multiplication we were following. Okay, if both the numbers are the real numbers, that is, both are calculated on the same line. Therefore, on the same line, I can measure 2 unit distance 3 times, which will give us in all 6 unit distance, which is actually a product or multiplication. Correct? No? Multiplication is defined like this. No, if I am taking 2.3, what is actually this is 2 plus 2 plus 2. Na 2 added 3 times, or 3 added 3 added 2
Two
times.
times.
Why this addition is easier for us on this real line? Because we have only one dimensions, one line we have in our hand, and whatever the answer will be calculated, that will be on the same line. Okay. Later the concept was generalized to dot product. Why the need of generalization was there? Because dot product cannot the simple product cannot be applicable for the vectors. Whenever I'm saying vectors, we were going for 2 tuple, 3 tuple, 4 tuple vectors. Correct? Now that is, if A and B are the two vectors in two-dimensional space or in three-dimensional space, or you can go for higher dimensions. Now can you go with the same kind of concept for the vectors in the 2D space? Can we use the same concept? No, we
No, ma'am.
cannot use the same concept. Why? Because the dimension of the given space is 2. This we are dealing with R2. And suppose we have the vectors A and B somewhere here. Here it is a vector A, here it is a vector B. Now the question arises, if I want to calculate A dot B, what methodology should be used? Right now. Why the question arises? Because we are not on the real line. Therefore, can we measure A unit distance B times?
No,
The,
ma'am.
the question arises in which direction one should go. Right now. Therefore, whatever is the method we were using for the real line, we cannot use the same kind of methodology for product in R2 or R3 spaces. Right? Okay, therefore the concept is generalized. Why? How it is generalized? Dot product is defined piece by piece, one can see. Can anyone tell me the definition of dot product? Suppose A, I am having a vector, say A1 A2, or I can write AX BX, say. Okay, or I can write AX AY, I will write, that will be better. AX AY. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Huh. Suppose I am writing a vector A as Ax Ay, a vector B as Bx By. Right now, I'm specifically mentioning the coordinates of the vector to be x component and y component. Then how we were following the dot product of the two vectors? A dot B, yes,
AX BX plus AY BY.
Ax Bx plus Ay By. Okay, and this is actually called as, wait a minute, yes, this is actually called as piece by piece product. Do anyone know the reason how it is defined? This is actually called piece by piece product. Okay. To define this, actually we were going to use this concept, same concept. How the same concept is used, let me tell you. Okay. To find the product, what we were going to do, we will take the multiplication of the coordinates or components of the vector in one direction. And which direction we were choosing? In x direction and in y direction. Okay. For piece by piece product, how I am going to define, see, if I write a as ax, ay, b as bx, by. Okay. Now what we will do? We will take all four possible combinations. What is all four possible combinations? Multiplication ax bx, then ax by, then ay bx, and then ay by. Right now, four coordinates we have in all. We have taken all four multiplication combination of all coordinates possible. If I'm writing ax bx, what is the meaning of ax bx? Ax is the, suppose this is ax, and here it is ax, no? This is the value of your ax. And what is your ay? Here is your ay, right now. Means ax is the coordinate lying along x axis, ay is the coordinate lying along y axis. Therefore, may I write this is ax, say, this is x. What about bx? Same thing, no? Lying along x-axis. Both the coordinates are lying along x-axis. Now let us go for this. Ax by. Ax is the coordinate lying along x-axis. That of by is the coordinate lying along y-axis. Similarly, ay is the coordinate lying along y-axis. Bx is the coordinate lying along x-axis. And finally, the last one is ay and by, and both the coordinates are lying along y-axis. Okay. If I want to find the product ax bx, how you are going to follow the same? By your usual multiplication, one can follow, na? Both the coordinates are on the same line on x-axis, right?
Yes,
Both the
ma'am.
coordinates are on the same axis. Then how the multiplication is followed? A usual multiplication, I can say. Right now, a usual multiplication. Ax is taken bx time or bx is taken ax time. What for the last one? The last possibility is also along y-axis. Both the coordinates are along the same line, but again a usual multiplication is followed, right? But can you take ax by times? This is ax. If
No,
I
ma'am.
wanted to take along y-axis, what will be the value? This is going to be 0. Now there is no x on y-axis. I cannot take x coordinate on y-axis, therefore this multiplication is 0. Similarly, I cannot take ay on x-axis. That's why this multiplication is 0. Therefore, which is remaining? This is 0, this is 0. Let us make the addition of all possibilities. What is remaining with us? It is remaining with us. We have only ax bx plus ay by. Therefore, this is called as piece by piece product. Okay. The other way to understand the dot product is, what is the other way to understand? Suppose these are the two vectors I have. A bar is the symbol generally we are giving, na? Okay, these are the two vectors we have. Then what one can do? Either you take the multiplication on along this line, or along this line. Correct, no? Either you take the multiplication on this line or along along a bar line or along b bar line. Suppose I'm deciding to take the multiplication on this b bar line. Then what I have to do? I have to find the b bar component of this a bar. Correct, now? I have to find b bar component of a bar. As of here, we have written ax is the x component of a, ay is the y component of a. Likewise, we have to go for this. Suppose there is an angle between the two vectors to be theta. Here we were constructing with the right angle, no? Correct, na?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me give the names. Some O, A, and B are the names I'm giving you. Then can you tell me the value of your trigonometric ratio cos theta? Cos theta I want.
OA by OB.
This is OA by OB. What is your OB? OB is your hypotenuse, that is A bar, right? What is the value of our OA? OA is, may I write A bar cos theta?
Yes,
OB
ma'am.
is your hypotenuse, na, A bar. Okay. So what is the B bar component of A bar? This value is A bar cos theta. Now we have the two coordinates, two scalars on the same line. On which line we have? On B bar line. Then you take a multiplication. A bar cos theta, usual multiplication. A bar cos theta taken B times. Okay. Therefore, how this multiplication can be defined? B times I am taking. Therefore, B is actually the modulus of your vector. Therefore, this is also defined as mod A mod B into cos of theta. Right now? Mod of A bar cos theta taken modulus of B bar, that is mod B times. These are on the same line, no? Mod A cos theta. I'll just show you. I hope I'm not confusing you. This is what we have obtained, say mod A cos theta. Correct? Mod A cos theta. On the same line we have B bar. But what is the modulus value of B bar? Say mod of B bar I am writing. Then two scalars we have on the same line on the direction of B bar. Then we have two scalars with us. Which are the two scalars? Mod A cos theta and mod of B bar. Then how this is executed? Mod A cos theta taken mod B bar times. Therefore, a usual multiplication. Mod A cos mod A bar I can write see here. Mod A bar cos theta into mod of B. Therefore, how your multiplication is defined? Mod A bar dot mod B bar. This is defined as mod A bar into mod B bar into cos of theta. Okay. One of the way you can select either piece by piece or by using the angle between the two vectors. Is it understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now these are the two ways which is defining the dot product actually. Okay. But as of in the non-linear spaces we have seen, we have modulus x is the distance giving function with us. But this mod x is not only the way to calculate the distance between the two vectors. Therefore, the concept was generalized to metric. Correct? Na? Later, this metric is unable to give you the scalar combination of the vectors. Therefore, the concept was generalized to norm. So, generalizations are being made. Correct? No. Generalizations are made to calculate the distances. Likewise, the usual multiplication initially which we have was not useful for the vectors. Therefore, it was defined to dot products. Okay, it is defined to dot products, and now this concept was generalized to inner product. Why it was generalized to inner product? Because there are only two ways are there actually, which gives the same scalar value. Okay, which are the two ways? A1 A2 plus B1 B2, or mod A bar mod B bar cos of theta. This is a special way to define the product. Okay, then the question arises, why to go for these special cases only? So let us generalize the product. Then the product was generalized by the mathematician Hilbert, and then while defining the product, what he has thought of? He has thought of to define an inner product as a function which satisfies all the properties which are carried out by this multiplication and dot. And the concept was generalized to inner product, and the notation for the inner product was used like this. If I wanted to find out the inner product between the two vectors, then it was u inner product u comma v. Okay, here we were using u dot product v. Here we were using simple multiplication. Correct, no? Therefore, now we are ready to define a new function called as an inner product function. Okay, which takes same properties as of multiplication and dot product. The first job is to understand what properties of multiplication and dot product we have, so that we can generalize it to define the inner product. Is it okay? Is everyone getting me?
Yes, ma'am.
लक्षात येते ना मी काय सांगते ते?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now let us go try to understand what are the properties. So what I will start with a usual multiplication. Say I will start with usual multiplications. Now the properties possessed by the usual multiplications are, may I write the first property, symmetry. Why symmetry? Suppose I am writing some A dot B, or alpha I will use because alpha is a symbol we were using for scalars. Alpha dot beta is beta dot alpha, no? Always in multiplication.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes or no? Yes. Then it is going to follow linearity as well. What linearity is, let me explain. Suppose we have alpha plus beta in a bracket. Usual multiplication was taken with a scalar gamma. Whether we can write alpha gamma plus beta gamma,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
this is a linearity property. Then homogeneity we were going to follow. What is homogeneity? Alpha beta multiplied by gamma. May I write this as alpha into beta gamma? This is like associative also, you can say. Homogeneously, na? You can take multiplication of any two scalars first and then you can go for the multiplication of the third one. This is homogeneity property. And last one is positivity. Last one or any one of the property you can say. Positivity. What is a positivity property? Suppose you are multiplying a vector by, multiplying a scalar alpha by itself. Then what is the value? Alpha square. May I say it is non-negative always? Whatever is your alpha. Right now,
Yes, ma'am.
alpha dot alpha is alpha square and alpha square is always non-negative. Or I can write alpha square is 0 if and only if alpha equal to 0.
Yes,
Or
ma'am.
I can write alpha dot alpha is equals to 0 implies and implied by alpha is equal to 0. Correct na? Alpha square is 0 if and only if alpha is 0. This is what an important property we have in the usual multiplication. Now this concept of usual multiplication later defined to which? Dot product. Okay, let us see what are the properties by the dot product. Right? Let me go for dot product. Okay, can you tell me what about dot product? Symmetry of the dot product. U, V are the symbols I will take in. U dot V. Is it V dot U?
Yes, ma'am.
Dot products follows the same property. What about linearity? Can anyone tell me? If I write U plus V dot product with W, can we write U dot W plus V dot W? Right now? Can we write it in dot product or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we can write it. Okay. What for homogeneity? Suppose I am taking a scalar, some lambda. Okay, lambda u dot v I am taking, say. Can I write this as lambda times u dot v or lambda scalar? In
Yes,
dot
ma'am.
product I am asking. Yes, it is true. What about positivity? What about a multiplication u dot u? Is it non-negative or not?
Yes, ma'am.
What is u dot u? Actually, u square we were writing, no? Okay, therefore, may I say u dot u is equals to 0 implies and implied by u is equals to 0. These are some properties carried out by the multiplication, dot product, generalization, right? Now let us try to define this generalized product called as an inner product. Therefore, inner product is actually a function between the two vectors that is defined on a Cartesian product of two vector spaces, and the notation we were using like this. This is a symbol for inner product. Okay, so this is actually a way of defining a product. This is nothing but a way of defining a product. Therefore, if I want to just make a generalization, it should follow symmetricity, right? Therefore,
Yes,
can I
ma'am.
write u dot inner product u with v is inner product v with u? This should be same. Okay. What should be linearity? If I take a multiplication of w with u plus v, means like this, no? This is a multiplication of w with u plus v with w. So this is u plus v with w. How the multiplication should be followed? Multiplication of u dot w added with multiplication of v dot w. So can I write u comma w inner product of u dot uw added with inner product of v with w. This is the another property. Similarly, I should go for this homogeneity. Therefore, multiplication of lambda u with v. How it should be defined?
Lambda into
Psi into inner product UV. And what about last one? Inner product of U with U is non-negative
yes, ma'am.
and inner product of U comma V is 0 if and only U is 0.
Equal to 0.
Is that okay? So for the same properties we were generalizing simply, no? These properties are generalized to dot product multiplication properties. Then dot product properties were generalized to inner. So what is inner product? Inner product is the way of defining a product which should give you a scalar quantity. Okay. Therefore, what should be the domain of your inner product? Actually, it is defined on V cross V, Cartesian product, and the domain should be a scalar field, either real or complex. Okay. And which is satisfying these many properties. One can define it in the examples. You will see one or two ways how the inner product is defined. Is that okay?
Yes,
Have
ma'am.
you understood inner product first? I think you have studied this inner product in your graduation also, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Can anyone give you some extra information on this? You can add on some points on this inner product there. समजला का इनर प्रोडक्ट काय आहे? इनर प्रोडक्ट समजला पाहिजे. पूर्ण डिस्कशन इनर प्रोडक्ट स्पेसेस वर आहे आपलं. तुम्ही जो इनर प्रोडक्ट बीएससी मध्ये शिकला होता ते याच्यापेक्षा काही वेगळं समजलं होतं का? या स्टुडंट्स
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
आता समजतंय का मी काय बोलले? इनर प्रोडक्ट काय आहे? इट्स अ वे ऑफ डिफाइनिंग अ प्रोडक्ट. It should give you a scalar value. It should give you a scalar value and it should be a generalization of your dot product. Means it should carry these many properties. Right? Okay. Therefore, shall I go for defining a dot product then? Inner product then. Okay. Also, with the help of this inner product, you will be able to get the length and angle between the two vectors. Okay, length and angle between the two vectors. Why? Let us see. With the help of dot product of two vectors, say a bar and a bar, how can I define this as mod of a bar into cos of 0, which is mod a bar bracket square, no? Right now, let me just carry this property. Let me just carry this property to inner product spaces. How this inner product is defined then? Inner product of a bar dot a bar is, now modulus is being generalized to norm because we know modulus is generalized to norm and that's why we were generalizing the dot product to inner product. Therefore, let me just use norm. Therefore, may I say this is norm of a square. What is the relation between norm and inner product? This is the relation, which is the same relation as of dot product and modulus. Okay. Now, with the help of this, may I say a modulus can be obtained? Modulus of a vector is obtained, right now? How the modulus is obtained? Mod of a is under root a bar dot a bar, correct? Then how you are getting the norm of a with this formula? Norm of a is
Square root of inner product plus a bar. A bar.
with a bar. Very good. Because this both gives you the length of a vector. Right now? This gives you length of a vector. Now let us check how we can get the angle between the two vectors. Tell me the angle between the vectors. How this a bar dot b bar is defined? Mod of a bar, mod of b bar into cos of theta. Then how this theta is calculated? Cos theta is a bar dot b bar divided by mod of a bar into mod of b bar. Therefore, what is your angle between the two vectors? This is cos inverse of a bar dot b bar upon mod of a bar into mod of b bar. Okay. No doubt denominator should not be 0. Okay. This is what angle between the two vectors with the help of dot product. Then how will you find the angle between the two vectors with the help of inner product? Let us generalize. We were generalizing this. Therefore, theta should be cos inverse of, yes, is it inner product a bar dot b bar, a bar divided by norm of a bar into norm of B bar. Okay, if as the dot product gives you the length of the vector and angle between the two vectors, similar property will be carried out to inner product. Therefore, inner product also gives us the length of the vector and the angle between the two vectors. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
आतापर्यंत जे सांगितलं त्याच्यात काही अडचण असेल तर विचारा. Because understanding the concept is important, because many a times what happens, we know what is inner product space, what is Hilbert space, we know much of the properties on that, but the problem is with the basic definition of inner product. Problem is with the basic definition of inner product. What is inner product? Inner product is simply a function defined on the Cartesian product, giving us the scalar value, or one can call it as a way of defining a product. It's called a way of defining a product satisfying certain conditions. Therefore, let us come to the definition. Actually, you are familiar with the definition. I'm just making a recall. Okay. So let me write a definition of an inner product. As of we were saying, norm is a generalization of a distance. How it is defined? Norm is simply a scalar valued function which is satisfying certain conditions. 4 conditions we have now for the norm function. For any function which satisfies those 4 conditions, we were calling it as a norm, or distress giving function. Similarly, any function here which is defining our certain conditions, again 4 conditions we are going to define, is called as a product. Okay? Let me write, or I can say an inner product on a vector space X is a function I am writing the notation like this. This is the symbol for your inner product. And how it is defined? It is defined on the Cartesian product X cross X. 2. The field F is either real or complex. Remember, it can have a complex value also, which satisfies following conditions. Okay, the first condition is, I will write positivity as the first condition, that is inner product X with X is always non-negative. Right now we have written this now. Inner product X, U with U is non-negative. Here I am writing X with X is non-negative. Second condition is inner product XX is equal to 0 implies and implied by X is equals to 0. Okay. And both the conditions together we are calling positive definiteness. Positive definiteness or definiteness. Okay. Okay, this is what I have taken from the last column. Correct now? This is what I am taken from the last column as a first condition or first or second condition. Let me write the third condition as, okay, inner product of X with Y. Here actually the inner product X with Y, Y with U with V, actually this is for Rn spaces. Or Rn spaces, because dot product and the usual multiplication we have not defined for the complex scalars. Okay, we have not defined for the complex vectors. We have defined only for the real vectors. Therefore, this is true for real. But now, as of we were including the complex case also, therefore here we were giving the relation of conjugacy between the inner product. Therefore, what I am writing here is inner product X with Y is conjugate of Y with X. Inner product X with Y is conjugate of Y with X. If I restrict the field to be real field, then what is the conjugate relation? It gives you the same number.
Same.
If it gives you the same number, the symmetry will hold. Right now, this symmetry. Inner product U with V is V, U hold. But only for the real spaces, but not for the complex spaces. And this property is called as conjugate symmetry. Therefore, this is not only symmetry, this is conjugate symmetry, we will say. And conjugate symmetry becomes symmetry if the underlined field is real numbers or RNS space. Is that okay?
Yes.
Right. Where bar denotes the complex conjugate. Bar denotes the complex conjugate. Let me write the fourth property of linearity. Linearity. See here, if you observe, linearity is followed in the first variable only. That is, if it is if the first coordinate is a scalar multiplication, then that scalar can be taken out. Right? Therefore, here we can say this is linearity in first variable. That is alpha x plus beta y, a linear combination of vectors. If I write in the first coordinate, a dot product with z gives you the value alpha inner product x with z, right? Plus beta times inner product y with z. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
The property is called as linearity in first variable, not only linearity. This is linearity in first variable. In the first variable only linearity holds. Now a question may arise, what happens if we have a linear combination in the second variable? This will be a natural question, no? This will be a natural question and we will give the answer by the properties of the inner product. I will give you the answer of this question as the properties. Okay? Time being, have you understood this? And this is for all x, y, z in the vector space x and alpha, beta be the scalars. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Therefore, what is inner product? Inner product simply a function defined on Cartesian product to scalar value having or satisfying these certain conditions called as properties. First two properties gives you positive definiteness. Third property is called as conjugate symmetry. Fourth property is called as linearity in first variable. हे शिकलायत ना तुम्ही ऑलरेडी?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
इनर प्रोडक्टचा आलेला होता मला वाटतं तुमच्याकडे. ओके. Perishta, just I have repeated those concepts because I want this concepts to be understood. एक दोन थिअरमची प्रूफ नाही समजली तरी चालतील, बट हा जो बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट आहे ना तो समजणं जास्त महत्त्वाचं. इज दॅट ओके टू एव्हरीवन? Okay. Now one may have a question. How the function is defined so that it is going to satisfy the four conditions. That we will see in examples, no doubt. असे कोणते फंक्शन्स आहेत जे हे चार प्रॉपर्टीज फॉलो करतो? नो डाउट डॉट प्रोडक्ट इज वन ऑफ द इनर प्रोडक्ट. Is it okay? Dot product is one of the inner product. As of modulus is one of the norm. Correct? No, modulus is actually one of the norm. Okay. Now later we were going to see that with the help of the relation between norm and inner product, that this inner product is always a norm linear space. Inner product space is a normed linear space. That we will see later. Okay. Time being, is the definition of inner product understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And why the word inner was used actually? When we have a question. Because we were taking a product of two vectors in the same space, x cross x. That is product of inner elements of the vector space. That's why the name is inner product. We were not taking a product of a vector in one vector space to the vector with another vector space. We were taking a product of two vectors in the same space. That is inner elements of same vector space. That's why the name is inner product. Is that okay? That what will be inner product space? Now the answer is expected from you people. What will be inner product space?
The set equipped with inner product is called.
Very good. A linear space X, a linear or vector space I can say. Vector space X together with the inner product. That is that is a space X together with inner product is called inner product space. Inner product space, and in short we were writing the IPS, inner product space. Okay, what is the actual meaning of a vector space together with inner product space? Together म्हणजे काय? वेक्टर एक्स मधल्या एलिमेंट्सचं जेव्हा आपल्याला मल्टिप्लिकेशन घ्यायचं आहे तेव्हा आपण कोणत्या रूलनी मल्टिप्लिकेशन घेणार आहोत? या इनर प्रोडक्ट या रूलनी मल्टिप्लिकेशन. कुठला फंक्शन वापरणार आहोत? इनर प्रोडक्ट फंक्शन वापरणार आहोत दोन एलिमेंट्सचं मल्टिप्लिकेशन घेण्यासाठी, दोन वेक्टर्सचं मल्टिप्लिकेशन घेण्यासाठी. येतं का अर्थ लक्षात? A linear space together with inner product space means we were taking the multiplication of any two vectors in this vector space X with the help of this inner product. As of in the in norm, what we were considering, the distance of any vector in the norm linear space N is taken with the help of this norm. Similarly, multiplication of any two vectors is taken with the help of this inner product. Okay, there are some remarks we were going to write on this inner product space. Okay, the simple remarks I'm writing: if the field underlying field is a real field, then it is real inner product space. If the underlying field is complex field, then the inner product is called as complex inner product space. Is that okay? Some simple properties and simple remarks I'm writing. If the field F is equals to R, it is called a real inner product space. Okay, and if the field F is equals to C, then it is called complex inner product space. Complex inner product space. Right now? Okay, and what is the resultant of your inner product? Resultant of inner product is always a scalar. Therefore, may I say the inner product gives you the scalar quantity. The inner product of ordered pair is scalar quantity. The codomain we have written to be F, na? Okay. The notation is used at the notation actually here we have used is like this, no? The notation also may be used as simple bracket. XY. How we have written? This is this triangle shape with brackets we will use. But simple brackets also one can. But simple brackets we were not writing in our discussion because this may have a confusion with bracket and the product. Therefore, what symbol we were going to follow here? Actually, what we use is we use this one. With this, we can understand this is a product, but sometimes it can be given with the simple also. Okay. Finite dimensional inner products over the real number is called as Euclidean space. Finite dimensional inner product space over the field of real numbers. Over the field of real numbers is called Euclidean space. What the space we were dealing with Euclidean spaces, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Therefore, this is what we want. Real inner product space with finite dimension is called as Euclidean space. And if I change it to complex spaces, it is called as unitary spaces. Finite dimensional inner product space over the field of complex numbers is called unitary or Hermitian spaces. Unitary oblique Hermitian space, right? Okay. Now let us go to see some properties of inner product. Now in this property, we were going to discuss some more characteristics of the inner product. Okay. Therefore, it is actually a theorem, and the statement says that if X is a vector space, or rather complex inner product space actually. If X is a complex inner product space, then prove that. What is it asked us to prove? The first point we wanted to prove is alpha x minus beta y with z. Inner product alpha x minus beta y with z. It is asked us to prove that this is alpha times inner product x with z minus beta times inner product y with z. Actually, in the definition, we have written the linear combination as addition, no? Alpha x plus beta y we have written. The first property tells you about what happens if here we have a negative. Okay, and the second will ask us about if we have a linear combination in the second variable, that is x alpha beta y plus gamma z, and the answer is this is beta bar x with y plus gamma bar x with z. Okay, this is called as conjugate linearity in second variable. Conjugate linearity in second variable. Why the word is conjugate linearity? Actually, in linearity, here you can check. We were taking the scalars out as it is, right now? But
Yes, ma'am.
if linear combination is in the second variable, how we were taking the scalars out? We were taking that scalars out of the inner product with conjugate. That's why the word is used as conjugate linearity. Okay. Third property is x beta y minus gamma z. This is beta bar inner product x with y minus gamma bar inner product x with z. Okay. And fourth property is show that inner product of any x with 0 is 0. 0 with x is also 0 for all x in x. This is one of the fundamental property of the multiplication, no? If any one of the vector is 0, the multiplication should be 0. If it is not so, what kind of product we were calling? In abstract algebra, A dot B is 0, either A 0 or B 0. What this property is
Without
called?
zero.
Without 0 divisors. And if both are non-zero, what the property is?
With
With
zero
zero.
divided.
Right now. Okay. But these many properties are there actually. I'll try to prove the first one. If time permits, we will go for the second as well. Right? What we wanted to prove in the first property, inner product alpha x minus beta y with z is this right hand side. So let me write it again. Step number 1 I will write to prove that inner product alpha x minus beta y with z is alpha times inner product x with z minus beta times inner product x with z. You just focus on my pronunciation, how I'm reading the statement. Okay. You should read like the same. Let me start with the left hand side. Inner product alpha x minus beta y with z. Okay. Now what I will do, as I wanted to use the property of the definition of the inner product, I will try to write this this linear combination as an addition. But what I will do, I will write this as alpha x plus minus beta times y. Right now, multiplication with z. Now, can I use that linearity in first variable property?
Yes, ma'am.
What the property says then? Alpha times inner product x with z added with this scalar minus beta taken as it is, inner product y with z. Reason linearity in first variable. Right now,